Hi everyone, it's Jennifer from Fiberflux. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make these easy scalloped bendy ornaments. This is a very easy project to make, and all we're going to be doing is crocheting around a pipe cleaner and then bending it into any shape we like. I have here a tree and also a heart. We're going to be making the tree together, but I'll also show you how to make the heart as well. For this project, you'll need a 6mm J crochet hook, a pair of scissors, a tapestry needle, some pipe cleaners. I have here some plain green that we'll be using. We're going to make the tree, but for these here, I use some sparkly ones. So really whatever you can find, whatever you have on hand is great. These sparkly ones look pretty festive. You'll also need some worsted weight yarn. I'm going to be using Red Heart Super Saver in the spring green, and but you can use any worsted weight yarn you like. So let's get started. To begin our ornament, we're going to come in about 1 inch or so, and we're going to go ahead and just tie the yarn right onto the pipe cleaner. So you can just lay it down on your surface and then just tie it right on. Again, just come in about 1 inch or so. Okay, so then what you're going to do is hold the pipe cleaner in your left hand and then your hook. And then you're just going to, and we can see this tail here, we can hold this along the edge as we work. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab the yarn back here like this and bring it up as if we're bringing up a loop, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to chain 1, just like that, and then we're going to work a single crochet all the way across. But make sure you do it in multiples of 3 because we're going to be following this scallop pattern. Okay, so we're just going to go under, bring the yarn up, wrap the yarn around the hook, bring it through both loops. Come under, bring the yarn up, wrap it around the hook, bring it through both loops. Now as you're working, you might want to push your stitches over as you go, just to kind of neaten things up a little bit. So we're just going to go all the way across working single crochets. And I also wanted to mention, if you use a short pipe cleaner, your tree or heart or what have you is going to be smaller. If you use one of those really long pipe cleaners, you'll have a much larger ornament after you bend it into its shape. So I'm just going to keep going across. Now if your pipe cleaner is getting a little bit bent up as you're working, that's okay. We'll straighten everything out later. Okay, again, I'm holding this tail in as I work. So we're just going to work all the way across, working single crochet stitches in multiples of 3. Now I'm going to go ahead and keep working all the way across until I have about 1 inch or so left at the other end, and then we're going to learn how to add this scallop to the top. So again, I'm going to keep working my single crochets across till I get to about 1 inch left of my pipe cleaner, and then we'll keep going with the next row. Okay, so I'm coming up to the end here and I have about 1 inch left. So you want it to kind of match where we started. So they're about the same length. Okay, so what we're going to do next is once you've gotten to the end here, so you have about 1 inch left, we're going to begin the scallop row. Okay, so I've been working along and mine is a little bit bent up, so you might want to kind of straighten it out before you proceed. I also wanted to mention this before. If you notice how this ornament, I used a green pipe cleaner with green yarn, and then I used a red pipe cleaner with red yarn. It kind of blends in a little bit nicer. Okay, so next what you want to do is go ahead and chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and turn your work. Next, in this very first stitch here, you're going to work 3 double crochet. So to make a double crochet, wrap yarn around hook, insert it into that first stitch, bring up a loop, wrap yarn around hook, bring it through the first 2 loops, wrap yarn around hook, bring it through the last 2 loops. This chain 3 counts as one of our double crochets for this scallop. Work another double crochet and work another double crochet. This is going to be our first scallop. So then what we want to do is in the next stitch, we're going to work a slip stitch. Now again, if you have to kind of slide things over a little bit, that's okay too. So in this next stitch here, we're going to work a slip stitch. So insert the hook into that next stitch, bring up a loop. Now bring that loop through the loop already on your hook. Then we're going to skip the next stitch, and then in the next stitch after that we'll work 4 double crochets. We're going to work 4 this time. The last one we did a chain 3, which counted as a double crochet, and then we did 1, 2, 3, so they all count. So technically we have 4 double crochets here. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then we're going to do the same thing we just did with the other scallop and work in the next stitch, work a slip stitch. So insert the hook, bring up a loop, bring that loop through the loop already on your hook. Skip the next stitch. In the stitch after that, work 4 double crochet. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to be doing this sequence all the way across, and as you can see, we have 3 little scallops now. So we'll just keep doing the same sequence. So in the next stitch, work a slip stitch, skip the next stitch. In the stitch after that, work 4 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Work a slip stitch in the next stitch, skip the next stitch, work 4 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Get some more yarn. Okay, slip stitch in the next stitch, skip the next stitch, 4 double crochet in the stitch after that. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Slip stitch in the next stitch, skip the next stitch, 4 double crochet in the stitch after that. We're about halfway done. So that was 1, 2, 3, and 4. Slip stitch in the next stitch. Now I want to point out too, this one little spot here, sometimes this pipe cleaner will kind of show through, and we can kind of straighten this out when we're finished. Skip the next stitch. In the stitch after that, 4 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Slip stitch in the next stitch, skip the next stitch, 4 double crochet in the next stitch. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Slip stitch in the next stitch. Let's try that again. Slip stitch in the next stitch, skip the next stitch, 4 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, our pipe cleaner is a little bit curly right now. That's totally fine. It curls up as you're working with it. That's totally normal. Slip stitch in the next stitch, skip the next stitch. So in that very last stitch, we'll work 4 double crochet. So just sometimes this last stitch on the end can kind of fold in on itself. So just, you might have to wiggle your hook a little bit. Okay, so work 1, 2, I need to get this end bent down just for the time being. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, to finish off the row, now if you notice our beginning scallop kind of has a rounded edge. We want this to not have, see this kind of has a squared off geometric looking edge right now. Just work also in that last stitch that you worked your 4 double crochet, work a slip stitch in that same stitch as well, just like that. And you'll notice now our scallop rounds back in, and that makes it look a little bit nicer. Okay, so now the crochet part of our ornament is complete. So what you're going to do next is we're going to lay this down and then just take your scissors and cut the yarn. Then go ahead and fasten it off with your hook. Now we wove this tail in when we began as we went along, but you'll still have a tail at the end when you're finished. So just take your tapestry needle and weave it in just like that with a small tail. And then just weave it right in to your work. Let's go in one direction. Now everything is green. If you're using different shades of yarn or different colors or stripes, you'll want to be mindful of where you're weaving this green, but we're just doing a solid color, so you can just weave it right into that green area anywhere you like. I did mine kind of along the pipe cleaner edge so it would be concealed. So then you can just trim this tail, give it a little tug, snip it, and then kind of work it back into place. So now we're ready to shape our ornament. It looks just like a curlicue right now. So we have our tree, and all this is a simple triangle, okay? So we have a right and a wrong side. So the side where we worked, where our scallops were facing us, is going to be the right side. If you flip it over, it looks a little bit kind of lumpier. It's the back of the stitches. So we're going to make this side face us. So I have a little tail here. I'm going to just trim this really quick. It's kind of popping out, okay? So if you have any tails that are remaining, just kind of snip those. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our 2 tails, that are pipe cleaner tails that we have, and we're just going to crisscross them at the top and then go ahead and twist them. Kind of like you would do a bread tie or something like that. Okay? And then you can take your pipe cleaner and just kind of create your triangle shape. This is kind of a simplified tree shape. We're not going to have a base or a star. We're just going to have like a kind of a minimal tree. Okay, so what you can do at this point is see how just the scallops continue. Because we joined 2 pieces together, you might have a little gap here. So what you can do is just take your tapestry needle and thread it. And then you can kind of close these scallops like this and flip them to the back and just put just 1 or 2 well-placed stitches just to get it closed up nicely. Okay, I'm just going to do like 2 stitches just to close those scallops up. You don't want to do too many because then your scallops will kind of flatten out a little bit. Okay, then you can just kind of pull that through and then tie it together. Now we still need to create our hanging loop, so we're going to do that next. Just tying that off, and then you can just trim because it's up against this hanging loop. If you want to weave the ends in, that's fine. If you trim them up close, you won't be able to see them. So now if we straighten out our scallop kind of continues. It doesn't have that gap in the middle anymore. Okay, so once you get everything nice and straight, and you have a nice triangle for your tree or your heart or what have you, you can make your hanging loop. So we're just going to have these meet in the middle like this. We're going to crisscross them like we did before. Just give them a twist or 2, and then kind of wrap the ends around this loop that you've just created. Okay, so you now have a hanging loop. Now you can put your hook right on that and hang it right on the tree, or you can do what I did and just take a little scrap piece of ribbon, kind of dresses it up a little bit, and tie it on there and then just hang it that way. If you want to do the heart is the same exact the same exact scallop pattern, except we just kind of pinched it at the bottom, and then I just kind of bent it around each finger, just like that. And then you can kind of pinch this top part here and shape it up like a heart. And this would be really nice for Valentine's Day as well. So our project is complete. It was very, very fast. It only takes a few minutes. And this is also a really great project if you want to put a little handmade touch on a gift as well. So that is how you crochet a bendy scallop ornament. Thanks so much for watching, and be sure and click the subscribe button to get all the latest Fiberflux video updates. Thanks again.